Yeah, well, Andrew Jackson, growing up in my household, Cherokee ancestry, he was the president who shall not be named.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the most hated president. Now, I was just in Jekyll Island, Georgia, and we went to where the Federal Reserve started, and that's a modern central bank that we deal with. It's not a national bank; it's a private bank. But when I was there, I thought one good thing Jackson did was he did end the central bank.
Yes,
and it's ironic that his picture's on the $20 bill. But other than that, I have nothing good to say about the man. But we often deify the early leaders, or we turn them into absolute devils, like my family did with Jackson. But these were human beings.
They were
real men who had vocations, and they weren't all just attorneys that had been governor at once.
Right. Well, and the reason we even chose the first 7 presidents is because all 7, from George Washington to Andrew Jackson, all 7 fought in the American Revolution. So all 7 knew what America was supposed to be about. They knew what the birth of the Republic was, what we were trying to accomplish. And so they would have had the best perspective, in theory, to know what direction America should go. And to your point with Andrew Jackson did more damaging, detrimental things to America, probably arguably more than any other president. But if you back up, he's an incredible military leader for a lot of years with the War of 1812, and he did some really good things. But then when he got to be president, one of the things, he was a senator from Tennessee before he was president, and as senator, he actually was telling people that were encouraging him to run for president, and he said, guys, I am not fit to be president. This is his own explanation. He says, I'm not fit to be president. He says, I am fit to lead hard men into battle where bad things happen.
But then you just said he weaponized the administration. He took his general attitude and we've got to win this war, and he weaponized it against the Americans.
That's exactly what happened. And this was the point. He said, I'm a good general where I can fight and defeat and conquer an enemy. He said, but I'm really not good at working in political. Well, when he runs for president, it's exactly what he does. He views his political opponent as an enemy to be crushed, to be destroyed, and he weaponized the government against his political enemies. What we see today, that is what Andrew Jackson started, because that's not what George Washington did. It's not what John Adams or Jefferson or Madison or Monroe or John Quincy Adams did. Jackson was the military general who viewed any challenger as someone to be destroyed instead of what's best for America. He said, no, how can I win this war? Well, that's not what's best for America, whereas arguably every president before him at least had the consideration of what's best for America. Andrew Jackson, as a president, didn't have that same consideration.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Andrew Jackson, isn't he considered the founder of the Democratic Party?
Absolutely he is. It's interesting, the founder of the Democrat Party being a racist, pro-slavery, weaponizing federal government. It's interesting.
Yeah, no,
probably no correlation to Democrats today. Just coincidence. Except
maybe a few years later with Wilson and others. But
I mean, it looks pretty similar.
Yeah, it does look pretty similar. Well, and he was a contemporary of Sam Houston, which is considered the founder of Texas.
Yes.
So there's a lot of interesting stories with Andrew